Hey, I'm Eric from Stinger Electronics, back with another awesome upgrade for Jeep Wranglers. This Jeep's been heavily modified, like a lot of Jeeps out there. Suspension, engine, lots of performance work. We've even replaced the front and rear speakers and added amplifiers. So now we're pretty happy with the way the vocals and high-end sound in our Jeep. But we're missing that low-end punch that you can only get from adding a subwoofer to your Jeep. But we don't want a box that's gonna bounce around while we're off-road in our rig. So today we're gonna be installing the loaded subwoofer enclosure from Stinger Electronics. It has a Phoenix Gold 12-inch sub right in the box, which handles 400 watts RMS, 800 watts peak. So it's gonna give you a lot of bass. And it's in a sealed enclosure, so it's gonna be nice, tight bass response. So it's great for any kind of music. So come with me as I show you how easy it is to upgrade your Jeep Wrangler JL by adding the Stinger Electronics loaded subwoofer enclosure to your tailgate. Before we get started on this install, let's take a look at the tools we're gonna use. 4 and 5 millimeter Allen wrench, included 13 millimeter drill bit, power drill, safety glasses, 10 millimeter socket, ratchet, Phillips screwdriver, zip ties, flush cuts, and pry tool. We're going to begin the installation by removing this plastic trim panel on the inside of the tailgate. If your Jeep's equipped with a trail rail, remove the 3 Torx bolts that secure the trail rail into place. Then using a pry tool, remove the trim panel. Now that we have this panel removed, we can take it over to our workbench where we're going to drill 4 holes. Now we have our plastic panel on our working surface, we're ready to take the included 13 millimeter drill bit and drill 4 holes in this panel. The top 2 are going to go right down through these top holes where our trail rails mount, and the bottom 2 are going to go down here in the bottom end of the plastic. You're watching our YouTube video, so you probably haven't looked at the install manual. Now's a really good time to do that. Take out the install manual and take a look at it. There's a picture of the back of this panel. It shows the 2 top holes and the dimples where the 2 bottom holes are going to go. Make sure you drill these in the proper location because they are going to go through the plastic. You should have 2 holes at the top and 2 holes at the bottom. Here's where we're going to install our mounting hardware. Before we reattach this trim panel to the tailgate, we're going to run the subwoofer speaker wire through one of the vents, and then we'll reattach the panel. We're going to go the 4th hole down. We have at least about a foot or so of speaker wire, and we're going to run that through the vent. You can always trim this shorter if you need to. Now that we have our trim panel back in place, we're going to add a few zip ties to the wires we added to keep them close to the factory loom. That's going to keep everything from getting pinched when we open and close the tailgate. Now we're ready to start working on the subwoofer enclosure. Begin by removing the screws that are securing the subwoofer into the enclosure. Then you can remove the subwoofer and set it aside. With the subwoofer out, take out any contents that are inside the box. This is the polyfill, the template for the Jeep Wrangler JK, and any other components that are going to be used for installation. Take those out and set those aside. Now we're ready to remove some hardware from the subwoofer enclosure. Tilt the box up. Remove the 2 top silver screws. You can see we've already removed them. Be sure to leave the 4 black screws in the bottom of the enclosure. Underneath the enclosure, there's 2 more bolts that we need to remove, here and here. Now we're going to install the 2 30 millimeter spacers in the top of our trim panel. They'll stick out just a little bit when they're fully installed. Now take the 45 millimeter spacer, the right angle bracket, and your long bolts. We're going to put the bolt through the tapered end of the bracket so it sits flush, and that goes through the spacer, and that goes through the bottom holes. We'll grab our drill and tighten that up. Same thing on the other side. Now take the supplied foam pads and apply those to the L brackets. Peel off the adhesive backing. Stick it right on. Repeat the process on the other side. We're just about ready to attach our subwoofer enclosure to the tailgate of our Jeep. Before we do that, we're going to make some mounting hardware. So we're going to assemble this bolt with a locking washer, a metal washer, and a rubber washer. So taking the long bolt, put on a locking washer, a metal washer, and a rubber washer. And assemble 2 of these. Now we're ready to attach the subwoofer enclosure to the tailgate of the Jeep. This part of the installation is a little easier if you have a friend. So my friend here came a little closer to the Jeep to help me out. So now we're going to take the subwoofer enclosure, get nice and cozy with our Wrangler, and we're going to take the positive lead. You're going to push down the red terminal and insert the positive lead into the red terminal. It's a spring-loaded terminal, so once you release the clip, it automatically engages the wire. Do the same thing with your negative lead on the black terminal. Push, insert the wire, and release. Now we're going to route the speaker wire up through the channel, and we're going to loosely set the subwoofer enclosure down onto the rails that we installed earlier. That's going to hold it in place while we loosely install the 2 top mounting bolts. We're going to take the 2 bolts that we assembled earlier, and we're going to install those in the upper locations loosely. Once we install the lower bolts, we'll tighten everything up. Now we're ready to take the polyfill that we removed from the subwoofer enclosure earlier, and we're going to put it back inside and spread it out so it covers the inside of the box. That's going to slow down standing waves and give us better bass response out of our subwoofer. Make sure you leave your speaker wires hanging out because we need to connect those to the subwoofer. Here we have our Phoenix Gold 12-inch sub. It's a dual voice coil sub, so we need to make sure that our speaker wires connect both positive leads and both negative leads. So take your red wire, just like on the subwoofer enclosure, spring-loaded terminal, smash it down and connect it. Same for your negative lead. Now we can screw in our subwoofer and we're ready to rock. Well, that's all it takes. Now we've upgraded our Jeep Wrangler JL, and it has a 12-inch Phoenix Gold subwoofer and a loaded enclosure box from Stinger Electronics, right on the tailgate. That was an easy upgrade, and we're really gonna enjoy it on-road or off-road. Whether the top's off or we're playing in the mud, this box is protected against UV and moisture. We hope you've enjoyed this install video. Thanks for watching. For more product information, visit our website or check us out on YouTube.